Inspirational Lady Noble 365 Tarot. Welcome to my channel. I greatly appreciate you being here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I trust you'll love this vibe, and everything you need to know about me is in the description below. This can be past, present, or future, you or someone around you. So take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. This is a general read. This is not a personal read. If you like a personal read, just check out description. Email me and I will hook you up. All contributions are highly appreciated and all are welcome on this channel. Tarot is a tool, it is not the final rule. It is a good idea to have an empty cup when you're on this channel and you really want to see what's up. Be sure to tell a family, friend, or foe that you know to stop on by and so they can subscribe to the channel and they can be privy to these spiritual notifications. There is enough space in this place for everyone to be notified, okay? Thank you all for stopping by and saying hi. Hi. Today, collective, I'm picking up and Spirit is saying that, we all are at different places and spaces in our life here on planet Earth in the Matrix. And we all have our own missions. We all have our own things that we like. We all have our own things that we desire. But at this time, the first card that I have is garden here. And Spirit is saying that we all have our own garden that we will tend to in our life here on planet Earth. We all have our own desires, our own hopes, wishes, our own plans, things we want to do presently as well as the future. And so Spirit wants us to stay focused on our garden, focus on building. Because, as I always inform the collective, the world will always be whirling and life will always be lifing. But in between time, in the meantime, what will you be doing? Okay. And so Spirit wants you to be aware that there will always be things in the world, things you see on the television, things you see on social media, maybe things going on personally in your personal life that maybe you don't agree with, maybe you don't like. There will always be things that may rub you the wrong way or create some sort of friction for you. But Spirit is saying, be mindful to not disregard your purpose while you're here on the planet Earth, while you're here in the Matrix as a human, okay? And no two human beings are alike. We are all uniquely, individually, divinely created. Yes, I was going to say it, okay? And so because you have your own garden with your own desires and intention for your garden, Spirit wants you not to disregard or forget, because sometimes we can get so consumed and wrapped up into the things that are outside of us that we forget to tend to our own garden. We forget to go tilt our own soil. We forget to go maybe pick the weeds out or, I don't know, maybe water the garden, okay? We forget to maintain, the things in our lives that are most valuable and important to us. So don't allow the outside noise or circumstances. Okay, Spirit is saying don't allow the outside noise or circumstances to distract you, okay? And examples of this, Spirit is telling me to go deeper. Examples of ignoring your garden is things like maybe you go to work and a coworker gets on your nerves. Maybe you go to a family gathering, you have it out with a family member over the last piece of chicken, or somebody looked at you the wrong way. Somebody bumped on your shoe. Stepped on your shoe, bumped on your shoe. Maybe you were driving and someone cut you off in traffic and flipped a bird up at you, okay? Maybe you were in a supermarket and maybe the cashier was very nasty. Maybe she snatched the money or rolled her eyes. These are examples of things that will try to get in your path or in your way to intercept you from maintaining your garden. What's most important, which is you. You are the MVP. You are the most valuable. It's always important to make sure your cup is filled so that you'll be here and you'll be able to sustain as well as maintain your garden, who you are, your family, your children, the life you desire, so that you'll be able to create. So, many of us are becoming distracted. And so Spirit wants this message to be conveyed. And that's why they're telling me to speak heavy on this garden here. There are many things that can get in your way. You could be in a relationship, whether it's a marriage, someone you're dating, okay, a friendship, maybe that from time to time you don't see eye to eye. It happens, okay? You have good days and bad days. Maybe your partner is being moody. Maybe you feel they're not being considerate of you. Don't allow these things to make you forget about your purpose while you are here. You are a multi-dimensional being. You are more than just one thing. You wear many hats, and it's different for each and one of us, okay? But there are many skills and talents that you were born and you were given, and Spirit wants you to stay focused on pouring into you, Pouring into your happy cup, something about a happy cup. Pouring into yourself creates something like a happy cup. Okay, spirit, whatever that means, that's for somebody. Okay. And so be mindful. Maybe you're watching this and you're pouring something. Okay. That's a synchronicity for you, who's ever watching this here. But be mindful of the distraction, because the next card we have here is the crossroads. Okay. And with this crossroads card, spirit is saying be mindful of standing in the center and feeling like you are the two of wands, or feeling like you are the eight of swords, feeling like you are stuck and don't know which path or which way to go. So be mindful of self-inflicting an illusion onto yourself that you are stagnant, because it's not all the time that someone is projecting negative energy at you. You just have to be mindful and be consistent, collective, with constantly practicing spiritual hygiene, constantly recalibrating your energy. That means removing people, places, and things that does not serve you. It makes no sense to constantly show up or go to invites where the people that are there, they don't have your best interest at heart, or every time you show up at Aunt Rhonda's house, there's an argument over who made the potato salad. Or maybe you go and play cards. Okay, someone likes to play cards on the weekend. Okay, spades, trump, bid, whiz, what are you playing? Okay. But either way, you may go meet up with some friends and go play cards, and maybe there's a small arguments and things. And so spirit is saying we have to stop allowing ourselves to be around these people, places, and things that we know makes us uncomfortable. Maybe people disrespecting you. Maybe you feel people aren't being considerate. It's not about always what someone else is doing, but spirit wants us to take accountability for ourselves, to constantly remove ourselves. And we have to get into the habit of recognizing that familiar energy and just separating yourself. It's not always a good idea, because, we feel that to speak and yell and scream, we feel like more empowered if we get into a screaming match and we're cursing out someone. No, because those words you are saying, you're actually saying them to yourself. It's actually lowering your vibration when you become enraged. You can do more in silence than you can with noise. Collective, you can do more with silence than you can with noise. And so it's not a good idea to keep asserting yourself, or, in areas where you don't belong. If there are some people or even a person you don't get along with, and they're going to be present in the direction that you are going, spirit is saying it's okay for you to decline. Doesn't matter what it is, okay? It's okay to decline, especially if something's going to jump off, and not just that one time. You have to permanently separate yourself. Okay, sabotage, because there are people and there are energies and entities that are attached to these people, and some are aware and some aren't, that are trying to sabotage your mission, that are trying to keep you feeling like you are at a crossroads when truly you aren't. Spirit is saying for us all, even myself, as I speak to you, I'm speaking to myself, to consistently recognize that energy, that familiar energy, because energy is never destroyed. It just jumps from one thing to a next. And so you may conquer maybe not dealing with someone that's toxic, but later on down the line, that same energy may arrive in a new person with a different face. And you might find yourself saying, wow, this reminds me of so-and-so. Yeah, so we are being, sent different tests, and we must be able to identify when this familiar energy comes up and remove ourselves. It's not so much about checking somebody, cursing somebody out, getting to an altercation, sending an email or text, threatening people. All of that is really a waste of time. All you have to do is just simply remove yourself. Because the next card we have here is snakes. There are people who are waiting to see you at a crossroads, as well as snake themselves into your pathway to create commotion, to create turmoil. This could be at work. This could be at school. This could be anywhere in a public setting around people you don't even know. This could be people you know and people you don't know. But Spirit is saying there is no need to be full of anxiety. There is no need to be full of fear or worry. Just when you recognize it, remove yourself. You can do more with silence than you can with noise. You can do more with silence, collective, especially when it comes to maintaining your frequency, than you can with noise. Okay? The next card that we have here is Rider. So Spirit wants you to ride it out, okay? to continue moving forward. Let no one or nothing make you dim your light or change who you are. Continue being who you are. You don't have to dim your light. You should never be in any environment where someone is asking you to change, or someone is accusing you, maybe, oh, you're laughing too loud, or you're joking too much. Well, that isn't your vibe or your tribe. When you receive that kind of energy of someone trying to control you and tell you what to do, and you're really not doing anything to anyone, innocent things like, maybe, oh, you're always dancing, sit down. No, go where the people are dancing are at. Go where the people love music are at. You have to be around your vibe and your tribe, and that way there won't be consistent friction. Okay, so it's very important to recognize that familiar energy. Okay, the more that you consistently recognize it and remove yourself, not check anyone, not get into a confrontation, but remove yourself, the more lush and green your garden will become, the more fruits you'll have to harvest, the more better the reaping of prosperity and abundance, as well as peace and tranquility in your life. No one's life is perfect. Everyone has disagreements. Doesn't matter whether you work in a medical field. Oh, honey, especially in the medical field. If you don't know, ask somebody that works in the medical field. I don't care. Oh boy, they will let you know. It goes down. Okay, even if you work in a corporate setting, okay, you may show up to work and things, someone rubs you the wrong way. Don't allow that energy that you experienced at work to go home with you. Home is home and work is work, and you should keep it separate that way. And remember that your employees, be mindful of accepting invites also, and the friendships at work, okay? Because they are there to make money just like you are. It's their livelihood. It's your livelihood. So be mindful of mixing business with pleasure. It's a good idea to, be cordial at work, get your job done, but have your friendships. If you're someone who must connect with other people, have your friendship circle outside of your workplace. You don't want to be in a situation where you have to decrease your credentium, decrease your professionalism. You don't want to be in a situation where you allow someone maybe you work with, maybe you decide to have drinks with them after work, meet me at the bar, something nice and innocent. It can turn into something else, because the more familiar a person gets with you, they become comfortable. And that's where the disrespect starts. Remember, the more familiar a person gets with you, they become comfortable. And that's where they feel, they can start the disrespecting. They can start that snakish behavior. But this is nothing to be worried, concerned, or have anxiety about. Spirit is saying simply recognize it and remove yourself. And another thing, you do not have to announce your arrival or your departure. Okay, you have free will. You do not have to explain, well, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you anymore because so-and-so, so-and-so. You know what? I'm not coming to your house to play cards because they burnt the fish last week. You know what? I'm not going to meet you at the bar because you didn't pay for the drinks. No, 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 no. Just simply remove yourself and keep it moving, okay? Keep it moving. The next card we have here is the Scout of Pentacles, okay? And as you see, this person is receiving a read here, okay? And so the Scout of Pentacles here, and she's taking a screenshot, of this reading, okay? And so there could be someone possibly trying to create some kind of distraction. Maybe they have you in observation. You're in their viewpoint. You're in their range of view. And this person could be possibly getting a reading on you, okay? This person could be getting a reading on you, trying to, and I'm calling it a tarot reading because collective, you can't see it, but these pictures here are similar to the pictures that are in this deck that I'm using. So that's why I'm calling it a tarot reading, because it is. And so she's holding the phone up, and this person is holding a card up, and she's giving the reading. You see the incense here and you see the crystal there. But either way, this person could be getting a reading, okay, on you to find out information about you. But just because they are seeking advice and just because they are trying to plan, plot, and strategize does not mean that the weapons that they form will prosper against you, okay? And so the next card we have here is the Backpacker of Cups, okay? And at the end here, there's a starlight right there shining bright. And she's at the end. Okay, the end, it looks like a bridge. And she's walking across, and the cup is in her hand. This person is trying to make it to the other side. This energy here reminds me and gives me the energy of someone building and creating something such as a garden, and trying to make it to the other side, building, planting seeds, things that will grow into harvest for you, whether this is your career, returning back to school, starting a business, saving money. Okay. Maybe you've joined some new hobby that you like to do in leisure. Okay. Maybe you're starting a podcast, excuse me. This could represent several things, okay, that you are working on, the backpacker of cups, and building. She's trying to make it to the other side. And she feels that when I make it to the other side, I'll reach this star here. I've been to reap my harvest from my garden. And so though people are having you in their observation, you do not have to succumb to any of their planning, as long as you shift your perception and knowing when to remove yourself. But because the goal is to keep you in the energy of conflict, the Five of Wands, what I'm speaking of, to keep you confused. You see how she's standing there before I put that down, looking up, looking dazed and confused. This is what, there is somebody, not everyone, but there is someone or either a group of people. This could be 1 to 3 people who is hoping and wishing for this. And that's a them problem. It's not a you problem. So you don't need to try to help this person understand who you are, because there are some people, no matter what you do, what you say, they are here to fulfill their role. And there are people here, soulless beings, NPCs, non-playable characters. They have no weapons in their arsenal. They just sit in a video game and just wave their hand or rock their head back and forth. They can't do anything, but just look, and just say, ooh, and ah. But there are so many people, sad to say, that they sit and they relish in hatred. They saturate themselves in that dark energy, and they choose to stay there because this is their comfort zone. They're comfortable staying there. There are people who are not desiring to change, so it doesn't matter what you say or do. You can be kind to them. You can offer them a helping hand. A person can have low self-esteem. You can say, you know what, I'm going to take you on a shopping spree. I'm going to get your hair done. It's worthless. A person has to find their way in their own timing. A person has developed themselves in their own timing, find their purpose in their own timing, and everyone won't cross the street at 12 noon. Some may wait till 11:45 or 11:44. Okay. So we are all different, and things happen at different times. And that's why Spirit wants you not to waste your currency, aka your time collective, trying to save people who don't want to be saved, or spending your energy, aka your currency, because energy is currency. It's like money. It's currency, okay? Around people and places and things who does not deserve your energy. If they're in a low vibrational state, they will never connect with you or understand anything that you're talking about. So be relaxed, be at peace and calm whenever you come across friction, whether it's at work, whether it's in school. I'm picking up some college students. Okay, go, go, go. Congratulations. Okay, that's watching this video right now. Whether it's in a family setting, maybe you're gathering with your loved ones, maybe you're with your friends hanging out. Whenever you see that friction, you have to just look at things in observance and let it be. Okay. And also, Spirit is saying this is also a good way for you to practice to leave people with their own energy. You want to protect your energy. And in order to protect your energy, once again, this is nothing to be anxious or nervous about or have anxiety about. There are so many simple things that you can do, like what I'm saying, constantly remove yourself. If you want to do a spiritual bath or crystals, whatever you want to do, you can do that also. Read the book of Psalms, you can do that also. It's a lot of things you can do. But Spirit is saying this is a good way to leave people with their own energy, not allowing people to call you and every time you talk to them, they've got something negative to say or they're complaining. Look, we already know, Linda. Listen, Linda, we already know that stuff is happening every day. We see it, we hear, but every time I talk to you, Linda, Linda, you've got something negative to say, and that right there, leave people with their energy. Leave them with their energy, And there will be some people whom you just have to let them talk and say nothing at all, or you may have to pick up the phone and have a conversation and tell them collective, I got something in the oven. You know what? I got something in the oven. I gotta let you go later. But it's really time for us to take full accountability. Recognize these snakes, recognize these low vibrational folks, and leave them where they're at. And don't allow people to keep you upset. The next card is the moon, number 18. Okay, the 1 and the 8 equaling a 9. Okay, but I'm looking at this 8 and I'm thinking of mastery and accomplishment. Okay, and 9 is attainment. Okay, and fruition. And so with this shadow energy, this moon here, as I said, there's a snake here waiting in the shadows, wanting to create any kind of friction. If you're smiling and you're happy, collective, do you think a miserable, unhappy person wants to see you smile? I'm not telling you to stop smiling, because I smile all day. I don't care what's popping. I'm going to smile and laugh. I'm not going to let this man-made ish tear me down. Life is life. It is what it is. There are some things out of my control and I accept it. I don't know about you, but I stand on that all day long. And I'm going to laugh about it all. I don't care if a bill come through the mail and say, you know what, you're overdue. And I'm going to be like, you know what, you're lying, and laugh about it. And I mean that. But with this moon energy here, there is an energy or person waiting in the shadows to see you at your downfall, to see you at your worst. And it's because they feel that they are at their worst. It's not that they are. This is how they feel. See, very few will be willing to do the work, collective. That's what this reading is about in a lot of reads that I do. I'm not going to speak for the other readers. I'll just speak for myself, respectfully so. It's all about very few in life, what I'm saying to you, are willing to do the work. It's not that they can't, because we all can. But it takes work, and it's the consistency of the work that builds the momentum. And eventually, over time, things will change, things will turn. But wait a minute, let me go very, very few are willing to do the work. And so that's what Source is trying to convey. And so, only thing you can control is yourself. You can't control others. And since we know this, we must stand on this and be aware. Yes, there are people making changes in their life. And it is possible for us to obtain and attain anything that we desire. You, me, the whole world. But how many are actually, let's be honest, come on now, are actually going to do the work and be consistent to get there? Just because a person wears a smile does not mean they're doing the work. Just because a person, every time you see them, they're dressed up, maybe in a lot of high-end name brands that we found out that are fake and we're being overcharged for anyway. Just because you see them dressed up, in labels or brands, or they got a fancy car, or they may have a lot of jewels, or they have a large following, does not mean that they're happy. There are many different ways to meet your goal, to get to success. There's a lot of things that can be done to push yourself to a certain level or a certain plateau in life. So we can't be fooled by what we see on the outside. We can't be fooled by what we see on the perimeter. Spirit is saying, be mindful of these things. Don't assume because you see someone, they change their car every time a new one come out. They real successful. They got it going on. Know that you don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know what that person is doing to maintain what they have. You don't know what that person is doing when they turn the corner, when they turn their back. You don't know what that person is enduring to have the life that they have. Happiness comes from within. The things that we receive on the outside are the extra blessings that we are given while we're here on planet Earth. It is wonderful to have the material things, but it is not the main course of who you are, nor your purpose. But it's up to you to figure that out and connect with your higher power and figure that out for you in your own time. The things outside of you are the extra things. That's why there's so much to be grateful for, so much to be, very appreciative of each and every day and thankful for. Clean water, clean air, food, a place to sleep, clothes, the ability to walk, to be able to talk, to be able to hear, to be able to laugh. That's a gift. And also therapeutic. And so, since we know this, we need to confirm it and stop pretending. We have to stop pretending, and assuming that, oh, everything is right with this person because every time I see him, he got a haircut. No, 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 no. You got to be careful with judging a book by its cover, because often there are some people who also can be so addicted to perfection that they make sure that they maintain the perimeter because there is so much going on the inside they are hiding. You got to be careful because sometimes some people are so addicted to maintaining the perimeter because there's so much on the outside that they are hiding. You should keep yourself up, your appearance up. That's not what I'm saying. But be mindful. Be mindful of the misjudgments. The next card we have here is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is reciprocity. Give and take. In order for her to pick this fruit here, she had to give something, male or female. She had to plant some seeds. There had to be an action that must have taken place in order to reap the harvest. There's work that is required. There's work that needs to be done in order for us to reap anything. And the work is making sure you're planting those seeds so you can reap from the garden. This is the garden. Okay? In the Six of Pentacles, she's picking the fruit because she's planted the seeds. She's done the work. She tilled the soil. She watered the garden, all that needed to be done. Added the compost or whatever, fertilizer, whatever was needed or was necessary in order to reap this harvest, in order to even hold this basket on this day with a beautiful smile and be happy. Oh, these came out so nice and beautiful. I've even got more than enough. Work is required. Work is necessary. And very few are willing to do the work. It's just the truth. There are some people who look like they're doing the work, but then maybe they've paid their way to get where they at. We are all receiving worldwide a mass dose of reality of the corruption that is taking place. Whether it's in the corporate office, whether it's behind a particular brand, whether it's behind something on social media, people can also pay to have things look a certain way. And that's why it's constantly important to work on your energy so that you'll be able to use your discernment in knowing what's yours and what isn't yours. And so when you wake up and you start your day and you're feeling good and everything's in the right place, and then by the next 2 or 3 hours, you're like, duh. You'll know where that energy comes from. You'll know that it's not your energy. It may be projection. Then again, it may just be maybe you went somewhere and it may be the energy of somewhere you went, maybe a store, somewhere you patronize. Sometimes it's projection, and sometimes maybe you had some kind of thought that crossed your mind that was negative, or you went somewhere and the energy in the building wasn't right. I don't care if it's your neighborhood gas station or your favorite barbershop or your nail tech. That's a handsy job. It's nice to get your nails done, but they're touching your what? Your hands. And we have chakras also where? In our hands. You don't know what energy attachments people have on them. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know what they're up to. You have no idea. I'm not saying don't get your nails done. Nobody's hating on you, darling. I'm just sharing a message with you. But we have to consider and be mindful of these things because the energy isn't destroyed. It simply travels from one person, place, or thing to another. It's never destroyed. And we don't know what anybody is involved in when they turn their back, when they turn the corner. You don't know what I'm involved in when I click off the camera. Yeah, I went there. I went there on myself. I threw myself in the read. That's how serious I am about getting this message across. But either way, you have to be able to identify and do the work. Very few are willing to do the work. And those who want to pay to get ahead or do things to get ahead, you know, they have to deal with that in their own time. And that's really their business. They have to deal with that in their own timing. There is a price to pay. Okay? Because this is not a race. It'll keep going. This marathon will keep going. You perish from planet Earth, you transition, aka pass away. You'll pass on to another dimension, another dimension, another realm, another level. Out of this fleshly suit to somewhere else. Okay? It continues. It continues. The Two of Cups. And when you are blessed and fortunate to have someone, because there are great people out here. Everyone is not running amok. Everyone is not terrible. There are great people out here in this world. And I mean that. See the light confirmation. See how I went light? The light even agreed with me. There are great people in this world. Yes, they are. Who wants to share that cup of love or interest with you? Doesn't have to be romantic. This could be a friendship. This could be a business partnership. There are great people. There are great things happening, but you have to do the work in order to recognize when the great person comes across versus the snake or this person who's in the shadows hoping to see you at your worst or at your downfall, or this person who is envious or jealous of you. Maybe you're a good parent. Maybe there's someone who's envying your parenting skills. Maybe you're someone who on the outside, people judge you and say you have it all together and they don't like this about you. That's a them problem. But these are things that people actually envy. And everything I named just sounds childish. It's all unnecessary. As much as I say we are all uniquely, individually, divinely created, that's because we all are different on so many levels. So we will all have different experiences on all levels at different timing for a purpose, for a reason. That is beyond our understanding. But as we move forward and work on ourselves and do the work in the garden so we can reap the harvest, that's when we'll learn more about ourselves and we'll know what energy is ours and what isn't ours. Or you do some astral traveling, your dream state, and maybe you have a dream that was very vivid but weird to you. Or maybe it was, I don't use this word, scary to you. And you're trying to figure out why'd you have that dream. That may not even be your energy. That could be some projection. That could be the person sleeping next to you. Real talk. It matters. It matters. Who you date, who you sleeping with, who's sleeping next to you, who's in your household, who you communicate with. Are you doing your spiritual hygiene? Are you transmuting energy? Are you grounding yourself? Are you putting, all of it matters. And you don't have to do everything that I'm naming all at once every day, but find something that works for you, because everything doesn't work for everybody and everything isn't required for everyone either. Do some research and find what works for you. But it matters. Just like I mentioned, getting your nails done. Because the nail tech is touching your what? Your hands. You have a favorite shop you go to, but you don't go to that one because they crowded. So you're going to go down the road because you're in a rush. You got to pick up your clothes and you got a hair appointment. Then you got to drop the kids off. Then you got to run over. So you go to a different shop. But you don't know that nail tech. You might know the other one, but you still don't know what nobody do when they turn their back. You don't know what kind of energy is attached to them. I don't know why I'm being told. I'm being told to reconvey this nail situation. Somebody must be going to a nail shop and the energy ain't right. Baby, just save yourself. Get you some Palo Santo. After you come out of there getting your nails and your toes done, just smudge yourself. Whomever you are. You keep getting them done. Keep taking care of yourself, baby. Male or female. Go ahead, keep getting the manis and the panties. You can, but just smudge yourself. Because for some reason I'm keep picking up on that, and this is weird. So that's because somebody's watching me who loves to get their nails done. There's nothing wrong with that. The spirit is trying to convey for you to protect yourself. So it's not weird. Oh, excuse me. I see. I gotta watch my wording. I'm working on my etymology. The next card we have here is the Nine of Swords. Yeah, you want to avoid feeling like you're on pins and needles, feeling like, what's going on? I was just feeling well. What is it? Those are all swords pointed in one direction. Okay? Sometimes they're ascension symptoms. If you're doing the work, they could be ascension symptoms. If you're doing the work. The next card we have here is the Nine of Cups. See, this is you at peace. This is you relaxing. Look how peaceful and tranquil you are. This is what they don't like. Collective, always relaxing. You're always at peace. You're always doing something. You're always buying something. You're always looking handsome. You're always looking beautiful. You're always this. You're always that. You're always smelling good. And they don't like it. Instead of relaxed, they want you dazed and confused. You're like, no, I'm going to have a spa day, whether it's at a real spa or it can be at home in your bathtub with some Epsom salt, okay, and some oils and some herbs or whatever you want to put in there, okay? Yes, you can do that at the crib. Yes, you can. Try it. Try it. It'll become an addiction. Have you a spa day at home. Turn that music on. Yes. Yes, they want you confused. She's dazed and confused because there's conflict coming from somewhere. There's some negative energy. She thought she was on the right path. And she's looking up into the void like, wait a minute, I know. I was just trying to think of something. Dang, what was I thinking? The goal is to keep you far as possible from this Nine of Cups energy. You know the 9 is 1 cup away from the 10, right? That's limitless potential, limitless. Because we're going to close with this one. I always say that, and then okay. Abundance, prosperity, the sun shining on you, because once again, you're reaping the harvest. That's the garden, you're reaping the harvest. You're reaping the harvest, collective. Don't allow people, places, and things to keep you confused, distract you, or destroy your mission. Here on planet Earth, in life, as humans, you will meet many different people of different calibers, from different backgrounds. Everyone is not for you. You are not for everyone. But you need to recognize it and remove yourself. Spirit is saying, there's no need for conflict. There's no need for confrontation. You do not have to announce your arrival nor your departure. Simply remove yourself from the equation. And that's how you do math.